And it's been nearly 6 years since Ghana began oil production. But what has changed at West Cape 3 Point and the landmark town that heralded the oil find back in 2007? Joy News Justice Beidou has been to the village he knew before oil exploration started to find out some of the young people and how high their hopes were of landing jobs in the industry.
Happy times. Village folks dance their hearts out. It's the Kundum Festival, the traditional dance of the Ahanta people. Welcome to Cape 3 Point, the epicenter of Ghana's oil industry. Here, little things like a good dance is enough to make you happy. But inside, all is not well. It's been nearly 6 years since Ghana began oil exploration and 9 years since this small town was announced as the landmark point where the oil find was made. While political promises in the years that followed raised hopes of what fortunes oil would bring to people, not just here, but the entire country.
When they first found the oil, they came to tell us that a huge industry was coming here. They said we are going to be relocated. And since the oil is here, we'll get a lot of the jobs. That did not happen. Every day they come and interview us. Now we are tired. We used to live on fishing, but now because of the oil exploration, we hardly get fish. Life is tough.
I first came to Cape 3 Point in August of 2007. It was just about the time that oil had been discovered. There was pomp and pageantry, and rightly so, because everybody here thought this small town was on the brink of an industrial boom of some sort. Many of the young people I met at the time had big ambitions. Now, though, the same people that I've met seem to be struggling to land the oil jobs they so dreamed about.
Esther Yeboah was just 12 years when I first met her here in 2007. She told me of her dreams of being a nurse. Now she's 21, 3 years out of high school, and has tried and failed to make it beyond that. Now she has a baby too.
Even my mother regrets taking me through school because I don't have a job. I'm still a burden on her. She hoped I'll get a job in this industry after school so I can help her too. I feel bad. Life in Cape 3 Points is hard. A lot of the young people are not going to school because they see no future. A lot of people think there's money here because of the oil, but nothing has changed. There's noise about Oil City, but there's nothing here.
Esther's story is just one of many in Cape 3 Point. Poverty levels are high, and with a teeming youth population with few opportunities to build their capacities, there seem to be no way out.
We failed to, send the right signal as a nation. One was the fact that we should have communicated clearly to citizens that this oil is not in the quantities that can transform the economy significantly, so that people would have known that they shouldn't put their hopes high. We should also have communicated that this sector would not employ widely, so that people would not have high expectation. We should also manage expectation in terms of local development, because apart from Cape 3 Points, there are several communities that thought that there will be development in those areas. So we should have, managed these information. At that point, we were going for elections, and most of the political campaigns was on what we would do with our oil money and things like that, still raising higher expectation. And I would say that still politicians are still in the mood of raising expectation relative to oil and gas.
Ghana goes to the polls again in a matter of weeks. New oil fields have been discovered since the Jubilee find, and at least $3 billion has come to government in oil revenues in the last 6 years. But for many Ghanaians closest to the oil activity like Cape 3 Point, they can only keep hopes alive to feel a trickle down of oil money in their lives soon. Justice Beidou, Joy News, Cape 3 Point.
And as interesting and intriguing as it is, we just have to fast forward 3 months after the visit of the Petroleum Commission, which has already expressed satisfaction at the progress made so far in attempts at boosting local content in the oil and gas sector. Well, 70% local participation, according to the Commission, has been attained since the inception of the policy in 2013, a feat it describes as very much remarkable. A local content conference and exhibition was convened last week by the Commission to assess the level of participation among local businesses and also how they can improve the relevance of businesses in there. And we brought you live reports from that very event. Kuku Aban of our business desk following the conference visited one of the local participating businesses and has come through with a report.
You're welcome to the Oilfield Machine Shop, a subsidiary of Amaja Oilfield Limited, and it's located in the Baker Hughes yard here in Takoradi, and they are into the business of threading of pipes as well as other, if you like, precision equipment. And we are here today to explore their operations, what they do, how they do them, and the benefits it brings to the economy. So let's take a ride into the shop. So this is what you were saying is a sea. 3 years ago, government passed the local content law to drive local participation in the oil and gas sector, a move aimed at maximizing the benefits derived from the sector. Dozens of local companies are currently playing a variety of key roles in the sector, in the area of fabrication especially. One of such companies is Amaja Oilfield Limited, a wholly owned Ghanaian company which has a number of subsidiaries, including the Oilfield Machine Shop. Health, Safety and Environment Manager Joseph Addo sheds light on their operations.
Our first machine, that is a band saw machine. What this machine does is to cut raw materials, pipes, connections off. We set it, the band saw on it, and then we started on the saw cuts the material into various sizes as per the requirements by the customer or as per the scope of the work that we have to do.
Band saws are adjustable, right?
Yes, they are adjustable.
And how important is this particular machine and what it does?
It's important because for large raw materials, it will be difficult to cut it off. And then this also gives you an amount of precision to make sure that the saw is properly aligned so that you don't have angles or offshoots in the materials that we cut.
So what exactly does it cut? Metals or pipes or what?
Yeah, metals. It can be pipes, it can be raw materials, it can be a defective connection that we need to cut off to make a new one. So just get rid of unwanted materials on pipes or to divide pipes or cut pipes into pieces. The next machine is known as the cold forming or swaging machine. What this machine normally does is if you have a pipe material, a pipe body, raw material that does not have a distinct pin or box, we need to form a pin or a box. So what this does is that we put the pipe in its inlet chute. We either have a swage die or an expansion die. The swage or compression die, what it does is to compress that end to become narrow, to form the pin. And then the expansion die also increases the outside diameter of the end that you want to form the box. So at the end of the day, you have an enlarged area for a box and then a compressed area for a pin. So without this, it's impossible to get the dimensions of either the pin or box. So this is very critical to producing casings for oil and gas operations. We've been working on these kind of casings for 4 years now. So at least we have 4 years of good quality experience in how to make these threads. And the most important thing is that none of the threads we have made by this process has failed on the rig yet.
An impeccable record. Not a single defect identified since commencement of operations. Over $5.5 million, I'm told, was invested in setting up the shop. With a staff strength of 28, including 3 expatriates in technical positions, the machine shop is well equipped to produce highly sophisticated engineering components for the oil and gas sector. One of such components, locally manufactured, is the subsea repair equipment. Technical manager at the shop, Gordon McCulloch, tells me Ghana must certainly be making some substantial savings having the components manufactured locally.
These are specialised subsea tools that we manufactured here in Ghana for Tullow. It's part of their drive and our drive to increase the local content. These were previously, things like this were previously brought into the country from Aberdeen, Houston, Norway, but Tullow are trying to empower more of the local companies to build stuff like this in country and obviously bring more local content to the Ghanaian companies.
You said it's subsea equipment. What does it do?
This would be lowered to the seabed, then an ROV, a remote controlled ROV machine will go down, and it's hydraulically operated. They would pump hydraulic oil down into it and they would put tension onto subsea wellhead equipment while they're working on it.
Working on wellheads?
Yes, subsea.
Exactly what would it do on the wellheads?
Well, the particular issue that this was required for was something had moved out of position down on the sea floor, and they were scared. They were scared that if they tried to release the connection on it, that it would jump. So we built these. They dropped them down and they put tension on it. While they released it, then they could slowly. There wouldn't be any risk of it causing any damage or having any leaks or anything on the seafloor.
About how much are we talking about?
These are probably about $40,000 each.
$40,000?
Yes, each.
And I'm sure if it's imported, freight and everything will be on it?
Yes. As I say, we made these in around 2 weeks. So if Tullow had to order these from overseas, it would probably have took them 2 months by the time they got them manufactured and brought them here. Well, as I say, this is the first time that we've done this, but we're expecting as time goes on that we'll start doing more of this specialised manufacturing in country. It's good for the oil companies here, it's good for the local companies, it transfers a lot of knowledge, and it's good. It can only be good for the country.
And since Tullow has ordered you to do this, then I have no doubt it's of high international standard.
Yes, of course. When we manufactured these they were tested and load tested and everything in accordance with all international standards.
Now to the core of the oil field machine shop's operations, threading. It is very crucial for the sector, as virtually every drop of oil or cubic feet of gas is channeled through the pipes, connected using threads. Joseph Adu again.
And this process is the meat of our operations, that is threading. What is done here is that pipes and accessories are threaded. That is pipes and accessories that has connections for making up into as part of the strings are threaded here or they are repaired. So this machine, as we already said, has a computerized system that you put the program of the type of thread that you are going to manufacture on it, and then the operators run it. And then after it's done, they call in the QA/QC guys to come and check to make sure that they conform to all the parameters and all the standards that we are working with. Then the pipe is released to the other processes.
So the pipes will be going into various sites exactly where?
We work on various types of pipes, which comes with various types of dimensions. But based on their dimensions and then requirements or specifications, we prepare a program for them. There has to be a surface treatment that is done. So after all the checks are done to make sure that the threads conform to what the specifications or standards stipulates, then it is released to the next processes.
How sophisticated is the process?
This is very sophisticated because this has to be precise. Any non-conformities can affect the performance of the tools. So we try as much as possible to make sure that whatever is produced here conforms to the optimum standards by the industry.
Are you in good business?
Yes, we are in good business. We are the only Ghanaian machine shop in the country. There used to be one here before us, which I'm sure is foreign owned, but because of the quality of products we are producing, we have overtaken the market, and now we have the greatest share of the market.
General Manager of Amaja Oil Field, Emmanuel Boabin, is excited about what he says is the steady progress being made in the area of local content in the sector, considering the speed at which knowledge and skills have been transferred over the period. He's confident by end of next year, all operations at the shop will be manned by Ghanaians.
At the start of the operations, we needed more experts, so we brought in a lot of technical guys who came to help us. At the beginning of this year, as part of our contracts with them, we realized they had been able to impart knowledge and technology to the locals, so we relieved 3 of them, replaced them with locals. We have 3 of them left who we hope by the end of next year maximum, they should have been able to transfer their skills and knowledge to Ghanaians, and we will evaluate them. The HR will evaluate them and see if the locals are in the position to take over completely, or we would have to extend their contract for 1 more year.
So it's like you've been successful in transferring knowledge from the experts to the locals?
A lot more successful. The locals we employed were fresh from school, polytechnic graduate and university graduate, very fresh from school, had just finished their national service, and now they are able to manage the facility very well. So the knowledge and skill transfer has been very successful, I can say.
But how much savings, you may ask? Well, quite substantial, Mr. Boabin tells me. However, a lot more, you would agree, can be achieved to increase in-country value and capabilities of domestic businesses.
And that's it for AM Business. We thank the AM Business team made up of George. We also have Kuku, as well as Sheila and many others who tend to put together the segment for us every Wednesday. When talking about that, please join us same time every Wednesday for AM Business, particularly if that's your interest. But we have a lot more regular programming on the channel as well as on the show next.
AM Business was brought to you by